So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is finally here after 5 long years of waiting, and if you want to know how the movie looked in glorious IMAX, well, let's get into it. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Brockopp side, a place to live talking by movies. And yeah, I'm a little late to getting this IMAX review out. I do apologize for that, but my reasoning behind that was, ever since the movie came out Thursday, I've pretty much seen it every single day since then. And chances are you guys have also seen the movie, so go ahead and comment down below your thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you get a really big-ass poster for seeing it in IMAX like I did? I mean, like, look at this thing. Look at that. This is f***ing full size, man. But without further ado, let's start talking about the movie. And the first thing I'll say is, wow. Just wow. This is the rare sequel that takes everything that was so great about the first movie, basically everything, and just elevates each and every element so beautifully. The way this movie explores the mythology of Spider-Man and what it means to take on the role in every universe, I thought was absolutely brilliant, with each Spider-Person having to go through what's described as canon events in the movie. Basic stuff like getting bit by the spider, Uncle Ben dying, other people close to you dying, and the consequences of what could happen if those things don't play out accordingly. And just the way that Miles Morales fits into that equation and how it ties back into the first movie and these callbacks was so perfectly planned out, and that just barely scratches the surface of the emotional baggage of the movie. I really don't want to spoil any of it for you, but whether you're talking about Miles with his relationship with Gwen Stacy, his parents, or the other Spider people, it is just so expertly done. The art direction is once again absolutely phenomenal with its distinct styles for each universe. Every single frame of this movie, I kid you not, could be hung up on a wall. I would do that, but you know, there's only so much wall to go around, man. This movie is part one of a two-part finale, and I know some people were kind of taken aback by that because they weren't aware of that. They took the part one out of the title, so it's just something to keep in mind. And it does kind of feel like the ending drags on a little bit, has one too many false ends, but I do think ultimately it ends on a really good cliffhanger, and here I am just staring at the clock, just being like, okay, only 9 more months till Beyond the Spider-Verse. Only 9 months. I can wait that long, right? Bottom line, the movie is fantastic in nearly every single way, but how does the movie look on the big square? Well, where do we start? Alright, well, I guess first things first, no, the movie does not fill up the entire IMAX screen at all. It is locked in at the 2:3:9 aspect ratio, which is something that does bother me sometimes. However, I do tend to forgive it when the movie is visually appealing enough, to the point I'm not even paying attention to those black bars. And ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Exhibit A. Like I mentioned earlier, this movie is the definition of a visual buffet, taking the revolutionary animation style of the first movie to new levels and evolves constantly throughout the runtime so the image never gets stale for even a second. I think one of the strongest uses of the color and the unique art style is in Gwen Stacy's world with this amazing use of watercolors which go in and out to emphasize certain emotional beats. It's just that scene, and pretty much the movie as a whole, I think is just a prime example of how amazing color can look on an IMAX screen. And of course, we do have the Spider Society run by Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, which, by the way, Oscar Isaac, fantastic in the role, can't wait to see him in more. Which is where you do get hundreds of spider people just coming out each and every pathway and corner and edge of the screen, which naturally is where a lot of the Spider-Man cameos come into play, like you get to see the Insomniac Spider-Man in all his three-dimensional glory, among others. I'm not going to reveal all of them because there's some really cool ones I don't want to spoil for you. And watching those scenes, especially on an IMAX screen that's just so freaking massive, it'll definitely help you kind of pinpoint a few different ones just lurking in the background, and apparently they're withholding even more for Beyond the Spider-Verse, so get ready. Sound-wise, composer Daniel Pemberton's score was every bit as iconic as the first movies. Hearing Miles' theme in IMAX just gave me chills every single time, as well as Miguel O'Hara's new theme, which was more of like a, oh shit, don't mess with that guy kind of chill. You know what I mean? I'm sure by now some of you have heard the complaints that the sound was coming off a little muffled at times. Yeah, apparently some theaters are just not cranking that shit up to 11 like you're supposed to. And I did see this movie 3 different times, mind you, one in IMAX, one in Dolby, and then one in Standard, and I hate to admit it, but the IMAX, it did seem a little quiet in areas where it definitely shouldn't have been. The Dolby version, however, rattled the entire theater. I could feel the sound in my bones, and I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant now. Just keep in mind, though, you may not encounter that problem whatsoever. It might just be a handful of theaters here and there having that issue, but still, just keep it in mind. Overall, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was everything I wanted from the second Spider-Verse movie, and then some. It did not disappoint for a second, and with a third part coming in March, I think we definitely have a strong contender for the best superhero trilogy of all time here. As for the IMAX, I would say that yes, 100%, absolutely, get on that shit! So for the movie itself, I'm going to give it a gold unboxing machete, and for the IMAX, I'm going to also give that a gold unboxing machete. But if you want to see my thoughts on another movie in IMAX, I got just the thing right over here. Otherwise, subscribe if you live talking by movies, and we'll see you on the Brockopp side.